No one in the town's hospital could forget that winter. Snow piled against the windows like silent walls, and the world outside seemed frozen in time. Inside, however, the millionaire's daughter lay in a bed surrounded by the most advanced machines money could buy. She was only 9, pale and motionless, her breaths shallow. Specialists had flown in from across the country. Each doctor examined her, adjusted her charts, and shook their heads with the same helplessness. No doctor could save her, they whispered in the corridors. It's beyond medicine now. That was when Henry walked by with his mop bucket. He wasn't supposed to linger, but he often did. A janitor by title, Henry carried far more than cleaning supplies down those sterile halls. A widower, he was raising his 7-year-old son, Lucas, alone. Every shift he worked was for his boy, rent, groceries, school shoes. Yet, despite exhaustion, Henry had a habit of noticing things others didn't. On that particular night, as he wheeled his bucket past the girl's room, he heard the faint sound of crying. Not from her, but from her father. Charles Whitmore, a man known for skyscrapers and private jets, sat with his head in his hands, a man broken in a way money couldn't mend. Something in Henry stirred. He pushed the door open gently and whispered, "Would you like me to clean later?" Charles glanced up, eyes red. For a moment, neither man spoke. Finally, Charles said, "She won't make it. They've given up." Henry didn't know what made him sit down. Maybe it was the way Charles looked, like a man stripped of every title. Maybe it was because Henry had once held his wife's hand in her final moments, powerless against illness. He leaned closer, speaking quietly. "Doctors fix the body, but sometimes the soul needs a reason to stay." Charles scoffed at first. But then Henry stood and walked out, returning minutes later with Lucas. The boy had been waiting in the staff room, coloring in a notebook. Henry whispered to him, and Lucas padded shyly into the hospital room. He placed his drawing, a messy but bright picture of a snowman holding hands with a little girl, on the bed beside the millionaire's daughter. Then, without hesitation, Lucas reached for her hand. "She looks lonely," Lucas said simply. "Do you think she wants to build snowmen when she wakes up?" For the first time in weeks, the girl's eyes flickered. Just barely, but enough that her father bolted upright. Lucas leaned closer, speaking the way children do. Earnest, unfiltered, alive. He told her about sledding, about the funny face his dad made when slipping on ice, about hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. Something extraordinary happened. Her tiny fingers twitched in his grasp. The machines beeped, and her eyelids fought to stay open. Doctors rushed back in, stunned. They had measured her condition in numbers, but none had thought to measure it in hope. Over the next days, Lucas returned each evening after school, armed with more drawings, silly jokes, and wide-eyed stories. Each time, the girl grew stronger. Not because of medicine, not because of wealth, but because someone had reminded her what it felt like to be wanted in this world. When she finally spoke her first words in weeks, it wasn't to the doctors or her father. She whispered to Lucas, smiling weakly. "Let's build that snowman." Charles Whitmore stood in the corner, watching in disbelief. The man who had signed billion-dollar contracts now struggled to comprehend what he was witnessing. That a janitor's son had done what no doctor could. And Henry? He only nodded quietly, squeezing his boy's shoulder. He knew the truth deep down. Sometimes healing isn't about science or skill, but the simple, impossible power of kindness.